So now that we have been able to display the list of to-dos via our view data, let's start with the actual functionality of the app, starting from adding tasks to the to-do list app. What we want to do is to be able to type in a task, new task, and when we click add task, we want it to be added to this list of tasks. So the first thing that we want to do is to tie this button to a method in our view. So let's do that. So this is the button right here. Button add task. We can add v on click, meaning whenever it is click, call the view function called add to do. This function has not been created, so let's now create it. Variables of view will stay inside the data object, which is here, and method will stay in a methods object. So methods, the first method that we want is add to do. Then we need to type function, just like that. And to test whether this method actually works, we can simply do an alert. Add task has been clicked. This way, whenever someone clicks this add task button, it will trigger a view method or function, which is this, and this alert will trigger. Let's test it out. Save and refresh our page. Click the add task, and so it works. So next, what we want is whatever that is being typed here, new task, for example, for us to be able to access via that method, via this method. So how do we do that? The first thing that we need to do is to bind the input to a view data. So let's bind that first. This is the input group, input. So we can use this thing called vModel, which will bind whatever that is being typed here to a view data. And let's call it new to-do name, because whatever that is being typed here will be the to-do name. But at the moment, our data only has to-dos, array of object. So we need to add that particular data in. New to-do name. And before people type anything, it will just be an empty string. So again, just to make sure you understand, whatever that is being typed in this input will automatically be saved under new to-do name, which is this. And we can access this or any data of the view directly in methods by simply typing this dot and the data name. And in this case, it's new to-do name. New to-do name. So now, what we are expecting to see is whenever people type in here, it will be saved under new to-do name. And when people click add task, it will trigger a view function, which is this add to do, and it will give an alert that will reflect the to-do name that has been typed in the input. So let's test it out. Refresh this page. Task. Cool. Click add task. Oh, undefined. Okay, so this was the error. Case sensitive. Just now the n was small, so I just fix it. Make sure it's the same. Refresh it, and let's hope it works. New to do. Cool stuff. Click add task. New to do. Cool stuff. So this mirrors this. But instead of adding it to an alert, we actually want it to add to the to-do or to-dos array. And if we notice, the to-dos array consists of name and is done, whereas this is actually just the name itself. So number one, let's create that object here. New to do is equals to name and it's done. So we need a name, and this name will be this dot new to do name. And the other key, oh sorry, this should be a equal. Okay. And the other key is done. Is done. Again, the default should be false. So whenever people click the add to do, we'll create this, and finally we need to push this to the, or we need to add this to the array list of to-dos. How we can do that is quite simple. We just need to access this data by clicking this dot to do, and then to add it to this actual array, we need to use the word dot push, and then we can add this new to do there. Let's try it out. Refresh this page. New task. Add task, and there we have it. New task false because it's not done yet. But when we add a task, we would want to remove this, because otherwise, for example, newer task, then this thing will still be here, which makes it hard for people to keep adding because they need to delete it. So what we can do is to automatically make it into an empty string whenever people click this add to do. So add to do, it creates an object, push to the array, which means add to the array, and finally also it should reset the to do name, new to do name, to an empty string. Refresh, new task. So when I click, it will be emptied right away. And another thing that is not so pleasing for me is that at the moment, whenever we add a task, it will go to the bottom of the list, whereas I prefer to see the newer task on top. So one way that we can do that is, instead of todos.push, we can use the word unshift. This will reverse the order when we push, when we add an array. It will add it to the first item of the list instead of the last. So save this, refresh this. So when I add a new task now, it should appear on top as such. Newer task. Yeah, this is the way I like it, but it's really up to you. So now that our app is able to get actual task items, we can delete these dummy task items. Refresh it. Task 1. Task 2. New task. And so on.